Welcome to all things powerlifting. All right, well, first, congrats to Thor for winning the 2018 Wuss Award. So, not sure why you would want that, but. Oh, I am being told it is the world's ultimate strongman that was held in Dubai. Okay, well, never mind. Congrats. Did a great job, brother. All right, now on to the video. He also recently, on November 1st, announced that he will be competing in a strongman competition on December 15th. This puts him about 5.5 weeks out, depending on what day this video comes out. And I've been waiting for something like this to happen for quite some time. My ultimate dream will be for Eddie Hall to do a powerlifting meet because I think he could walk into a gym in Nikes, no belt, with naked knees and total 100 or 1,000 kilograms pretty much any day of the week and maybe a couple days of the week. Thor is a close second, and I'm sure the rest of these strongmen would be great at powerlifting. I just don't see them training it as much as these two do. But Thor doing this is pretty awesome. I presume he'll be competing raw with wraps. If it's not raw, I don't even know why he bothers, to be honest. Sorry, not sorry. I'm going to take a quick look at his most recent lifts and then make some predictions. And little disclaimer, I am little more than a Monday morning quarterback, making the best guesses I can with a little of his training that I see. Not trying to be like, hey, he should do this, yada, yada, yada. Although I will do that later. Once again, more as a just kind of entertainment value and kind of fun to, think about it and work out the processes and stuff. Powerlifting is kind of a passion of mine, so. All right, well, anyways, November 1st. So this is his most recent squat. He hit a 335. It was really shaky, but a very strong single. He had a considerable amount of hip shift and just looked really shaky. And the truth is, he just isn't used to squatting to depth because squats are an assistance lift for him, so there's no point. He just has to do it to get what he needs out of them. But the way his camp was really super thrilled about this, I think this is on the higher range of what his attempts will be. Maybe something like a second attempt putting us third in the 350 range. That's 350 for those who don't speak MAME. My opinion is that if he cleans up his form and gets used to the depth, he could probably move closer to 360 plus, maybe even 370 would be in the cards. In 5.5 weeks, that's kind of a big ask, though, to be honest. Which brings us to his most recent bench. On October 10th for bench, he doesn't have any heavy singles work, but he also never looks taxed doing the work. Once again, this is assistance lift for him, so this is just something to make him stronger, keep his shoulders healthy. His most recent bench work was a 3x3 at 220 kgs with a back down AMRAP of 200 kgs for 7. Now 3x3s are typically done somewhere between the 80 and 85% range, maybe a bit higher. But if we assume this is 85%, that puts his 1 rep max just shy of 260 kgs, 258.8 to be exact. His 1 rep max, if we calculate it for 220 for 3, is 233, so considerably lower. His 1 rep max for 200 for 7 is 240, but once again, that was a back down, and this is like RPE 7. I think he could easily smoke that for 10 plus if he was fresh. And if he hits 200 for 10, his 1 rep max is closer to 267. Now, once again, he didn't pause these reps, but he didn't crash and bounce them either, so I don't think a pause will take that much out of his numbers. I think 270 would be a high third, but I would not be surprised to see a 280 kilogram bench attempt for his third. I really wouldn't. His most recent deadlift was a while ago, and he hit 380 for 4. A direct 1 rep max calculation is 415 for a single, so that was the 380 for 4 wasn't necessarily a max effort. Again, he never takes his lift to true failure, not even close. I think that's probably one of the smartest training things a person can do, and he's doing it. He did use straps, and that will add way more to your deadlift than you think, but he has pulled mixed grip recently, and it looked pretty good, so I don't expect a big hit going from straps to mixed grip. He's also recently pulled, 330 for a 3x2. All right, that brings us to his total predictions. So the number one factor in what he totals will be what effort and risk he wants to apply to what is basically his assistant's work. Um, Ultimately, I expect a range of anywhere from 950 if he plays it very conservative to around 1050 kilograms if everything just kind of clicks in what is a really short prep. I really think he'll probably be in like the 1000, like the low 1000s. And if this is a little bit of a PR campaign or a publicity thing, I do expect him to really, really go for that 1000 kilograms. But once again, I don't think that'll be very difficult. So I picked what I think he'd be good for in his third attempts to just kind of work backwards, going by percentages for the most part. So for squats, 315 opener, 335 second, which is what he'd already squatted with really shaky legs. And then a 350 third. Now that's pretty low, I think, if he gets his squat down over the next couple weeks. The strength is definitely there for closer to a 360, 370 plus third attempt. But yeah. Now everything's been doing on bench. I think he'll probably open. Once again, I don't know what he's going to open, but working backwards, I think he'll be good for a 270, 260 easy. So you see his numbers, his attempts there would be like 240-ish, 260-ish, and then 270-ish. And then on deads, I actually do think he's going to go for whatever is going to get him 1000 kilogram total, because I do think this is some kind of publicity. I mean, why wouldn't it be? You'd have to be, I mean, this is kind of his living, is, paying the bills and stuff. So that 1000 kilogram total will go a long ways. I think it's a nice big round number. And so I think his top end, I do think he'll be good for a 400 kilogram deadlift, not using straps, and at the end of a competition. Once again, this is kind of like him going through 3 assistance lifts, like this is not a big deal to him as far as his CNS is concerned compared to what they do in strongman competition. So maybe around 350, 380-ish, 400-ish top. I wouldn't be surprised if he has something like a 400 second, maybe a 390 second, goes 410, 415 for the third. It will be really interesting to see what he does, and if they live stream it, you best believe I'll be watching it. And that brings us to the first ever installment of Coach's Corner of athletes we know absolutely nothing about. Here I'm going to break down points in Thor's training that I would focus on. Like I said, just kind of for shits and giggles. My number one emphasis is going to be my number one emphasis is going to be on technique to powerlifting specifications. To get a little more specific about that, he needs to get. Number one thing is, I think that's going to add the most to his total, getting comfortable with depth on squats. I don't know, maybe do some submax training, like a 5x5, once a week, and then have his heavy work another day of the week. I don't know what his frequency is like. I'd probably increase it. I'd probably add in some pause squats. I prefer pause squats to go on their own day, so I don't know. It's kind of like priming him for that next big heavy day. That's just kind of how I do things. How they do things is probably completely different. Who knows? These people obviously know what the hell they're doing. I believe it's the Australian strength coach, which I will link. If I can confirm it's him, which I'm almost certain it's him that's training him. If I can link him, I'll link him in the description or whatever. And anybody who wants coaching, I would highly recommend him. I don't know what his coaching is like or whatever, but he obviously knows what he's doing. So, yeah, that's kind of what my approach to it would be pause squats. I think it would probably be the most beneficial thing he could do. Then bench and deadlift are really simple. Bench, no more unpaused reps, and I would probably add in commands, maybe a couple weeks out. Deadlift, just burn the reps, man. Do not rely on grip training to hold on to the deadlift bar. Strongmen have the strongest grip in the world. I mean, that's kind of their job. So it's really not going to be that much of an issue. I think the bigger issue is actually just going to be pulling from a longer range of motion, pulling with a slightly twisting motion, and just getting used to the setup of mixed grip versus straps. But he already pulls with mixed grip frequently, so I mean, once again, it's not that big of a deal. And yeah, everyone, fingers crossed that he goes through with this and just kicks some ass. And to see a truly elite athlete go put up a big ass total would just be phenomenal for me. I would love to see that. I'm not throwing shade at powerlifters, but we are not elite athletes. I think we've had maybe 2 or 3 since Bill Kazmaier who are actually elite athletes. And they are the 2 or 3 that have put up the biggest totals. Not a shocker there. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, all that shit, because let's grow this channel. Let's, people like this, I'll keep doing it. Anyways, peace.